Edgar Ross. Ross is a federal agent who appears in both RDR 1 and RDR 2. In RDR 2, he is already tracking Dutch and the gang. He is one of the figures who quietly puts pressure on Dutch. Although he represents the law, his methods are cruel and corrupt. In RDR 1, he forces John Marston to hunt down his former gang members. Eventually, Ross is the man who kills John himself. He is ruthless and shows no mercy in his work. In the end, Ross is killed by John's son, Jack Marston. Agent Milton. Milton is one of the Pinkerton agents chasing the gang. Together with Ross, he is tasked with bringing Dutch down. Milton repeatedly pressures the gang and offers Arthur deals. He offers a bargain, but Arthur and Dutch refuse. Milton shows up in several key moments to confront Arthur. Eventually, Sadie kills him during the final stages of the game. Milton symbolizes the direct and constant government pressure on the gang. He is also one of the main reasons Dutch falls deeper into paranoia. Bill Williamson. Bill is one of the old and close members of the gang. He is violent, hot-tempered, and somewhat foolish, constantly causing trouble. Bill's mistakes often put the gang in more danger. After the gang's collapse, he forms his own small and weak gang. In Red Dead Redemption 1, he becomes one of John Marston's main enemies. Bill is easily manipulated by others, especially Dutch and Micah. His blind loyalty to the gang leads him into disastrous choices. He symbolizes a thoughtless follower who eventually becomes an enemy. Uncle. Uncle is an old, lazy, and comical member of the gang. At first glance, he seems harmless and unimportant, but his laziness and irresponsibility often create problems. In camp, he contributes almost nothing to survival. Dutch frequently insults him for being useless. At critical moments, Uncle even abandons the gang. He acts as a passive antagonist whose inaction hurts others. In RDR 1, he lives with John, but dies defending the Marston Ranch. Kieran Duffy. Kieran is a former O'Driscoll who was captured early in the game. After interrogation, Dutch surprisingly decides to add him to the gang. Although he tries to prove himself loyal, he is never fully trusted. Kieran is timid, fragile, and constantly afraid of death. He falls in love with Mary Beth and wants to be useful in camp. Eventually, he is kidnapped and brutally killed by the O'Driscolls. His severed head is left outside the camp as a terrifying message. Kieran becomes a tragic victim of the feud between Dutch and Colm. Colm O'Driscoll. Colm is the leader of the O'Driscolls and Dutch's lifelong rival. He and Dutch have fought a bloody feud for years. Colm is cruel, merciless, and filled with hatred. Throughout the game, he clashes with the gang several times. In one mission, he captures Arthur and tortures him. Eventually, he is arrested by the government and executed. Rather than celebrating his death, Dutch grows more paranoid. Colm represents Dutch's endless cycle of violence and rivalry. Leviticus Cornwall. Cornwall is a wealthy American industrialist. He owns railroads, mines, and many large companies. Dutch and the gang repeatedly rob his trains and businesses. Cornwall represents ruthless capitalism in the story. He works with federal agents to hunt down Dutch and his gang. His motivations are business-driven, not personal. Eventually, Dutch murders Cornwall in St. Denis. His death marks a turning point that pushes Dutch further into war with the government. Angelo Bronte. Bronte is an Italian crime boss in Saint Denis. He pretends to cooperate with Dutch and the gang. In reality, he only uses them for his own benefit. Bronte promises money and influence, but repeatedly deceives them. He even kidnaps Jack, John Marston's son, as leverage. Dutch's initial trust in him proves to be a big mistake. When Bronte grows too arrogant, Dutch kills him. His death shows that Dutch has lost all moral boundaries.